Whose is the most controversial?
Can I tell you, this is my last time talking about this tackle, the Haaland stuff. I still don't think it was a bad tackle. I really don't. I don't care what anyone says.
It wasn't great a tackle. It wasn't a great tackle, was it?
No, but it's not as bad as everyone thinks it is. When you play sport, the speed we played at, I watch games. You know there's a difference between hurting somebody and injuring somebody.
Yeah.
Big difference. That's my argument.
I don't like that.
I was trying to hurt somebody, not injure somebody.
Said that, and there is an element of truth in that. What she said basically that that bubble of our changing room was sacrosanct, and what went on in there stays in there.
Oh, you believe? Oh
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm
what nonsense that is!
I'm quoting what she
I know
said.
you're quoting.
So I'm saying Ellen White said there was an element of what's been said in here that was almost like that was us. We were a winning team together. We won the Euros.
So he looks like David Brent.
Nothing gets out of here, yeah. I know. No, I know. I hear that stuff all the time. You know what happens in the dressing room? First time people get offered a few quid, I go, yeah, I'll write about it. And slag you off. I know, but listen, nobody's forced anybody to buy these books. You know what I mean? If they would have...
Yeah.
This idea that what stays in the... that's...
We'll get back to Keano, Nev, Scholesy and the gang in just a quick second. But remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if there's something on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments and he's always interested in what is on your mind. This week's episode of The Overlap is a fun one. They're just having a little bit of a chat about the past and some of the old stories and whatnot. And Roy Keane is on absolute form this week. Yeah, he talks about his biography. In this clip anyway, he also talks about the tackle on Erling Haaland's dear old dad, Alfie Inge Haaland. Gary Neville and the gang, they talk about Glenn Hoddle and disciplining Teddy Sheringham and all kinds of good stuff. It's a really, really, really nice clip. But have a little listen to what they've got to say. Stick around for after the clip because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on what the guys had to say on this week's clip. Here they are.
I remember the Jaap one, because the big headline, obviously, with the Jaap one was that he called me and Phil busy C-U-N.
In the book?
Right.
Yeah. But you're reacting as though
So,
it's...
Gal, why are you spelling it out? Just say you called us the C word.
No,
yeah,
don't
busy
say
C word,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
So basically, the headline was, the Nevilles are... Now, he wasn't wrong.
So, do you think that was the beginning of the end for him?
I'd like to think not, that it was nothing to do with that, to be fair. But my point is, my view was that the headline was... I remember Jaap rang me. I was on international duty and it came out, and I was shocked at this headline. Because it was like... But I know that mine and Phil's relationship with him, so when...
Yeah, he was coming from a good place.
He was coming from a really good place. Jaap's amazing bloke.
Yeah,
so basically,
good guy.
what used to happen was Jaap was like 6'12", he was massive.
Right.
And Phil used
That's
to...
7 foot, isn't it?
He's 8'2". Jaap used to come in, Phil used to come in the morning, right, and used to flick Jaap's ear.
Wow.
And then run away from him.
Oh, my God.
And Jaap used to run after him and just, honestly, grab him and fucking bear him. The relationship that we had with him was always to try and poke Jaap and push him. And
Yeah, but why would you be bogged? Why would people be
Oh,
bogged
no, I
down
wasn't
by
bothered.
I know you weren't, but you're saying other people.
no, so Jaap rang me
taken
and
that
said,
out of it, isn't
guys,
they?
I'm really sorry, the headlines are disgraceful. And like,
Because he wouldn't have control over that.
He was really sorry. He was like, this is not right. I remember him ringing me, like he was with Holland, I was
He
with
said
him.
it from a place of endearment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the manager could never go at lads writing books then either, because he was after writing about 10 himself, wasn't it? So that's...
Did you buy them?
He'd stop playing now.
No, but Jaap, to be fair, and I always remember Jaap being really sorry about the headlines and the book. He just not paid attention to it, because that's what he used to call us in the dressing room.
I always thought that pissed you off, man.
No.
No, really. All right.
That's what scares me about writing one, because it's like you can be honest and you're going to bring out certain relationships that weren't good throughout your career, maybe managers, stuff like that. Or you can kind of not be honest and then people that are reading it are going, well, that's not true. So I don't think I'd like to do one. I don't think I would.
Maybe you don't want to do one now, Jill, but at
I
some
know,
stage you've got a
but
story to tell.
you'd still have to kind of, I'm not saying bring people out, but talk about stories that maybe sometimes stuff's just best left.
Maybe that's why if you give it time, it's easier to, it lands easier.
Yeah,
But
but Jill, I think I saw, it was either on television or on Instagram, Ellen White, I think, did an interview, I don't know if you've seen it, where she said that, and there is an element of truth in that, what she said basically that that bubble of our changing room was sacrosanct, and what went on in there stays in there.
Oh, you believe? Oh,
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm
what
talking about,
nonsense that is.
I'm quoting what she
I know
said.
you're quoting.
So I'm saying Ellen White said there was an element of what's been said in here that was almost like that was us. We were a winning team together. We won the Euros.
So he looks like David Brent.
Nothing gets out of here, yeah. I know. No, I know. I hear that stuff all the time. You know what happens in the dressing room? First time people get offered a few quid, I go, yeah, I'll write a book. Yeah. And slag you off. Yeah, I know, but listen, nobody's forced anybody to buy these books. You know what I mean? If they would have...
Yeah.
This idea that what stays in the jar, that's...
The main
It
thing
should
with
be
writing,
like
the main
that
thing
though,
with
Roy,
writing
do
it
you
though,
not think?
is that if you're
No,
gonna
it's
write
social
it,
media and people have their ages and their friends.
if you're gonna write it, then you know, and you're gonna put what you're gonna put in there. Ideally, you want to let people know, like Jaap Stam with
Yeah,
you.
give
Let
them
people
a
know,
heads up,
listen, I'll
maybe,
give you
yeah.
a heads up. This is coming out, and you know how I meant it.
Yeah.
That's all that needs to happen, and then whatever comes off
Yeah.
of the back of it, you have to take that.
Have you written a few books? Truthfully, you know, have you got?
Yes,
how many
I
have you done?
Two.
Two, right? Okay, yeah. I think have you done one?
done one.
How many?
2.
Scholesy?
I did like a picture book thing.
You've
You've nodded your head, yeah.
we got it here.
I'm modelling.
What do you mean? Just a picture of you playing?
Yeah, a picture
Right.
playing like a little story.
And no words,
Yeah.
just stories.
No words.
That suit him down the ground though. What's that?
Yeah, just a few words underneath it. Not a proper full-on autobiography.
What, like,
done a
this
book,
is me
though.
playing against Derby. This is me playing against...
Getting warmed.
Goal.
Get warmed
But
up.
you put your name to it, obviously, and
Yeah,
you've not
yeah,
done
yeah.
one yet.
No, but I think when work dries up, I might bring out 6 or something. I'm joking. No, I haven't
I've done
one.
two, yeah.
I bought
it's a two-
yours
you
when
can't
I was
feel like
about 10.
Two's about the one, isn't it? You do one when you just finish, and then you do
Yeah,
another.
it's more relaxing when you've finised.
Yeah, it is.
When did you do yours, Roy? When you were playing? Obviously, yeah, the one.
The first one.
First one.
Probably would have been. Was it just?
Were you still at United then?
Yeah, yeah.
What year was it? I definitely had it
I
as
would
a
have been.
kid.
No, I would have been 31.
Was that the one that the FA had a bit
Yeah,
of a pop up?
because obviously they could, because I'm still playing. But you can almost say anything you want when you're finished, because you're not obviously not a player.
Yeah, not
So
under
it's
their
different
jurisdiction,
circumstances, different kind of vibe when you're doing the second one. When I done the second one, it was definitely more relaxing because you didn't have anyone hanging over yet.
Oh, is this the
Yes,
book?
this is... Oh, my
Give it here,
God.
Kieran.
I remember
This
that.
brings back such... This brings back childhood memories.
Like we could put the book so it's being done.
Where's mine, Kieran?
No, that's not it.
Jill, we need to get some quotes out from that.
Yeah, no.
Oh
but I
my
done that when I
That's
was playing.
about the book.
I wouldn't
That's
recommend
about
that,
the
I have to say.
You know, when you said
that's the
everyone said
aftermath,
you
okay.
look like
want
your
it?
son looks like you, that's a picture, isn't it? That is, look, on the back. That is just him.
These books. Have you got Riley's books? Scholesy's picture book.
Why is yours
You got
so
Nev's.
big?
Is that that's the first one? Yeah,
Your
that's when I
fir-
was still playing.
Your first line in your book, Roy, is Teresa.
It was ghostly written, by the way. I mean, I'm just
not
someone's
write it?
helping
That was
me
your
write it.
defence that didn't.
That was my defence.
That didn't stack
to
up either,
to
though,
the
did it?
FA lawyers. And the guy, honestly, yeah. He said, give it a second. I'll tell you what the lawyer was doing to me when I was getting cross-examined. I was like, oh, well, you know, somebody went, this is you on the front of this book, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, it is. This is your book, isn't it? Fuck it, yeah. Fine, mate. Give me the fine. He kept doing that. This is you on the front
Roy,
of
how
this
much
book.
Should've said,
how
no,
much
it's
did you
not me.
find?
For the Haaland stuff, they fined me about 150 grand or something.
Really?
And obviously I'd been fined as well for getting sent off in the game and all the legal fees, so...
Did you make a profit then?
The book kept
You lose money?
broke even.
No,
The first.
So you released a book and it cost you money?
Yes, Jill.
That's why I released another one. That's why I did another one, Jill.
So I'm doing another 4.
What's the line? Read it.
Teresa had told me on the phone that I was disgraced World Cup star Roy Keane. That's the first line. So that's Teresa ringing you up after Saipan.
Probably, yeah.
Was Tip reading the headline or something?
Yeah, she was giving me moral support, yeah.
Whose is the most controversial?
Can I tell you, this is my last time talking about this tackle, the Haaland stuff. I still don't think it was a bad tackle. I really don't. I don't care what anyone says.
It wasn't great a tackle. It wasn't a great tackle, was it?
No, but it's not as bad as everyone thinks it is. When you play sport, the speed we played at, I watch games. You know how there's a difference between hurting somebody
And trying to...
and injuring somebody.
yeah.
Big difference. That's my argument.
I don't like that.
I was trying to hurt somebody, not injure somebody.
What's the most controversial autobiography that's been released? The one that shook everybody. Can we think of one?
I can't. You need a list.
Yeah, no, I haven't got one. I'm just
trying to
thinking.
think of the last one that I actually read.
Yeah.
Did you upset anybody?
I don't think, from what I remember, and I've seen him a lot of times since, and you know, I've got on well with him since, worked with him a lot. it was Glenn Hoddle, because I think my portrayal of the '98 World Cup, when obviously he spoke about, he asked Teddy to apologise before the tournament, and then he said about Bex that Bex wasn't focused, and then I think during the actual '98 Argentina game, just a couple of things, and so I just spoke about that from my perspective. I don't think Glenn thought about that.
So you didn't call him up and tell him that's going in?
No.
Did he ever speak to you about it?
No, and someone said that he would speak to me about it, and then when I was with him, he didn't. But that's fine. I mean, I was never going to change my mind. I think it was on the issue of. So before the tournament, if you remember, we went to La Manga.
La Manga.
Yeah. I didn't agree with the way in which the players were released, but that's a mistake. That can happen. If you remember, it was awful. But then he told us all basically we were meeting up at, let's say, Burnham Beeches or Bisham Abbey, whenever we were, 3 days later between La Manga and meeting up for the tournament. And I think he did say to us, you know, don't get caught out, lads. And Teddy, I think, went to Portugal, didn't he? Teddy went to Portugal on a little trip and he got a picture, I think one of the newspapers got him, like the People or the News of the World. So there was a picture of Teddy, like, in a bar. And he made Teddy...
It's not like Teddy.
Sky News or something.
He made Teddy go out and do a written... Teddy had to read out an apology.
Go to a bar.
No. Teddy had to read out an apology to all the news stations of how he was wrong, or else he would have left him out the squad. And I said to Teddy, you can't do that. I said, it's just a public humiliation. But anyway, Teddy did it because he was going to get kicked out of the squad, and I didn't agree with that. I knew Teddy had done wrong, but I think discipline for me should have remained internally.
But you're not the manager.
Absolutely. So a different way of looking at it. You know, to be fair, Glenn had principles, standards. He was thinking, I'm the England manager, and he felt that there should be a public consequence for it. I personally, at United, it had always been dealt with behind the scenes mainly, stuff like that.
Yeah, but we're talking about Teddy. Teddy's the kind of character that he'll just say, you know,
he'll roll with that.
Teddy will go, you know what, I'm banging
It's
out.
fine. And then a week later, obviously, he left Bex out of the first game of the World Cup. But when he was doing the press conference 3 days before the game, he said the reason he wasn't picked was because he was distracted and wasn't concentrating on his football or something along those lines. And I just thought, again, that was the biggest slight you could put on a professional football player. If you left him out,
It had nothing to do with Man United. Like, Man
You
United
get bogged down with all that stuff.
I just commented on it.
Is it just because? Is it the Man United players,
You get
Gal?
bogged down by it.
Gal.
I know, yeah.
Let's get this book out, shall we?
Was it as well, Gal, because of your loyalty to United and how much you love United and they're both
my
United
point.
players?
Yeah, they were United teammates, and I felt as though, to be fair, it wasn't just quite right. And look, it's an opinion, and I wasn't really critical of Glenn because I said that he was one of the best coaches I've ever worked with, but I just felt that he got the job very young, and I think if Glenn had got the job 5-6 years later, in his development, he'd have probably been one of the best England coaches we've ever had.
Scholesy would have stayed, that's for sure.
Well, Scholesy loved playing for under Glenn. You loved playing under. He was your favourite, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He would have sorted that team out, Capello.
So that's, I did.
We had him here, didn't we? Didn't say anything then, did he?
No, but I think
He
Glenn...
was a good guest.
Glenn, to be fair, he's very good. I mean, on television...
Oh, yeah, the biographies. Do you know what? I used to really, really enjoy a good football biography. There's been a few that I've liked over the years. I've read those ones that they've brought out there. I read the Jaap Stam one. That was a good one. I've read both Roy Keane biographies. I've read Gary Neville's. I've read Paul Scholes' biography as well. I've read Fergie's books, both of them. I'm sure there's more. I just can't quite think of them at the moment. I really enjoyed Gary Neville's book. It was. I mean, this was back when Gary Neville used to actually talk a little bit of sense. To be fair, he just had really astute, common sense opinions about all different kinds of things. And I really, really liked Gary Neville as a footballer. And I remember one of the things from his biography that was really interesting is what he said about what Sven-Göran Eriksson should have done for during the 2006 World Cup. And he said basically he should have started with Carrick and Hargreaves, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe he played a diamond. It was something along those lines. But he gave a really interesting explanation of what Eriksson could have done to get the best out of that team with Gerrard and Lampard and whatnot. I think he said maybe he should have dropped one of them. I'll have to go back and double check that one. But I do remember being really entertained by Gary Neville's autobiography. I think I read it in about 2 days. I was engrossed in it. Roy Keane's ones were good. I can't really remember too much about the first one, other than I really enjoyed it because it's weird. You don't necessarily remember specifics of certain things sometimes. You just kind of remember how it made you feel. And I really enjoyed both of Roy Keane's, but it was the second one of Roy's that I enjoyed the most. Well, I enjoyed half of it, I remember saying and thinking, because half of it was about his remaining years at Man United. And then the second half was when he was a manager and whatnot. But one of the things I remember the most is reading it. But when I'm reading it, I can just hear Roy Keane in my head saying the words that I'm reading, and it just really made me laugh. Talking about like having a fight with Peter Schmeichel outside Bobby Charlton's and hotel room, and all of that. It was just absolutely hilarious. Jaap Stam's was really good as well. I kind of think that was the beginning of the end, because it was just too coincidental that not long after that he was gone, and it was a shame that had to happen. I mean, Ferguson has come out and said that that's not the case, and that he thought that Jaap Stam had lost a yard of pace, and he has since admitted that. Well, he said anyway that was one of his biggest mistakes as a manager, and that he shouldn't have sold him. But he made a profit on Jaap Stam, because we bought him for a world record for about 10 million back in '98, and then we sold him in 2000 and. When was it? 2001? For like 16 million or something like that. So a £6 million profit for Jaap Stam. Fair enough. Went to Lazio, but yeah, that was a really fun one. And I remember the controversy around it was him saying that he was tapped up by Ferguson, and that's one of the reasons why they thought that Alex Ferguson was, well, that he was not happy, and that's why he was sold. But see, the thing is, back in those days, there was a lot of characters. I don't recall there being. I can't really imagine. There's not a lot of characters in football now. Whereas back then, you had people like Jaap Stam, you had people like Gary Neville, you had people like Roy Keane. Love them or hate them, they are all characters, and they stir up emotions for one reason or another. Paul Scholes' biography, I remember that being awful, and it wasn't a picture book at all. It was a biography, an autobiography, probably had a ghostwriter. It wasn't a picture book, but there was a lot of pictures. There was a lot of stories as well, and I'm telling you now, it was boring. Paul Scholes' you'd think he was an average Sunday League footballer, and he would talk about a match where he probably got man of the match and he played amazing, and he talks about him coming off the pitch and then saying, yeah, I played all right, or I don't think I played that well. I got man of the match and I scored 3 goals, but I don't think I played that well. It just gets to a point where being self-deprecating just becomes a bit boring. It's like, just tell the truth, mate. You had a brilliant game, you got man of the match, and you were class. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of characters these days, so I can't imagine me wanting to read many footballers' autobiographies in the coming years. I mean, back then there was different personalities, just like there was different types of players who played, and players were allowed to express themselves. But these days, it just seems to me that the game's just full of robots, because they're not allowed to have a personality. They're not allowed to make mistakes because of social media and just general media just hounding them all the time. And also their own personalities kicked out of their game, like from a young age, because they're just drilled. It's just drilled into them to play certain systems and things. It just kind of makes the game just a little bit more stale and a little bit more bland. Yeah, so... But it is what it is. That's the game these days. It is what it is. One autobiography that I really enjoyed was Zlatan Ibrahimovic's. I used to think Zlatan was overrated, and maybe he was a little bit, but I tell you what, I bought his autobiography just for a laugh, and I read it, and I was thoroughly entertained. If there's someone who is just so unashamedly confident in themselves to the point where their opinion matters more than most, and they're really funny about it, it's Zlatan, and reading his book just won me over. After that, I just thought, fair play to you, fair play, and I was just a fan after that. So his was a good one as well. But yeah, I can't think of many more. But it is what it is. But what do you guys think? Who are some of your favourite autobiographies from footballers? But it doesn't have to be footballers. It can be anyone, any sports person. Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.